Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
From the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Thursday, December 3rd. I'm Wayne Pratt. More than 3,100 people in the U.S. died yesterday from COVID-19. The COVID Tracking Project says that is the highest daily number of deaths since the start of the pandemic. For more perspective, it's more than the number of deaths in the 9/11 attacks. In the St. Louis region, cases are decreasing. Data from the New York Times shows the number of daily new cases is down about 9% over the past week. There have been almost 2,300 deaths in the region since March. Those still staggering totals come as Missouri health officials say the state could start receiving a COVID-19 vaccine from Pfizer around December 15th. Along with help in the form of a vaccine apparently on the way, Missouri is about to bring in additional workers and more hospital beds to treat coronavirus patients. The state is working with a Texas-based company for additional health care help. Here's St. Louis Public Radio's Chad Davis.
Missouri Governor Mike Parson says hospitals will work with Vizient, a healthcare company that will provide up to 760 additional workers and about 600 beds. Parson says Missouri will use federal CARES funds to pay for the help through the end of the year. Hospitals will then pick up the tab through February. The announcement comes after health officials and government leaders in the St. Louis region said they were worried about how they would care for an expected rise in coronavirus patients. Parson says Vizient has provided similar support across the nation.
States like Arizona have also worked with Vizient through the COVID-19 crisis, and we are hopeful that this will provide meaningful support for our hospitals and the people of Missouri.
Parson says the cost of the partnership hasn't been finalized. I'm Chad Davis, St. Louis Public Radio.
The Missouri Senate has given final approval to a more than $1 billion budget bill. St. Louis Public Radio's Jacqueline Driscoll reports.
The measure gives Governor Mike Parson appropriation authority for federal coronavirus relief funds that need to be used by the deadline at the end of the year. The Senate was also expected to take up COVID-19 liability protections for businesses, schools, and healthcare providers, but Parson halted those discussions until the 2021 legislative session that begins next month. The legislation includes funding for several state departments, including elementary and secondary education, social services, health and senior services, and the Office of Administration. It now heads to Parson for his signature. In Jefferson City, I'm Jacqueline Driscoll, St. Louis Public Radio.
In Illinois, 4 people, including a close friend of House Speaker Michael Madigan, have entered not guilty pleas in a federal bribery case alleging a scheme with the state's largest utility, Commonwealth Edison. The pleas were entered yesterday, weeks after all were charged with federal counts of bribery and conspiracy. Former state lawmaker Michael McLean is among those who entered pleas. He and Madigan are close friends. McLean and the 3 others appeared through a video conference at the brief hearing yesterday. Madigan has not been charged. He has denied any wrongdoing. New renderings show how the Major League Soccer stadium in St. Louis will include outdoor plazas and green spaces to draw residents downtown year-round. As St. Louis Public Radio's Corinne Ruff reports, project leaders say construction is expected to be complete in about a year and a half.
St. Louis City SC won't start playing in the new stadium until 2023 because of delays related to the coronavirus pandemic. Chief Experience Officer Matt Seebeck says ideally he would be organizing MLS playoff watch parties at pubs and hosting other events to get input from fans. But as coronavirus cases surge across the region, he's making a big push to connect with people online.
I think what that is doing is setting the precedent for this very digital and personal relationship that will continue as we enter our first season in 2023.
Seebeck says his goal is to bring soccer fans to downtown West even during the off-season. Architects are designing the area surrounding the stadium as an entertainment district, which could include food trucks, live music, and outdoor events. I'm Corinne Ruff, St. Louis Public Radio.
Some things happening today that you might want to keep track of. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt will announce a new cold case unit. It will work to investigate unsolved homicide cases throughout the state. We are expecting another update on Missouri's efforts to tackle the pandemic. Governor Mike Parson will be discussing that and other issues during an afternoon briefing with reporters. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, by the way, will continue his daily coronavirus briefings this afternoon. And this morning, Congressman Lacy Clay will give his farewell remarks on the floor of the U.S. House. He lost August's Democratic primary to Cori Bush, who will now represent Missouri's 1st congressional district. Before wrapping up, on this day in 1818, Illinois became the 21st state. Its population at that time was only about 35,000, and most of the prairie was not settled. The growing population in the state shifted north to the Chicago area by 1840. Shula Newman is the executive editor of St. Louis Public Radio, music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt. From the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this has been The Gateway.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.